Hey guys, this is Metal. I'm an Oni slash E-Honda slash online noob extraordinaire that plays Street Fighter on PC and Xbox Live. You can catch me on either side at MetalMusicMan04. It's my gamer tag. So what I'm going to talk about in this little video here is Oni and his mix-ups, like his stomps and slashes, and also some of his normals. And I'm going to go over why a lot of them are not good options, and I'm going to tell you how to beat them, and how to punish them, and how easy that is to do. The main reason I'm doing this is because I play a lot of people and they tell me that, my Oni's really good, and it seems that the vast majority of people don't understand what I'm actually doing and how punishable it really is. So I'm aiming to educate and show you guys how to avoid that, and why Oni is not as good as you probably think he is, and yeah. So I'm not going to be real overly negative. I hope you don't think that's how I'm being. It's no secret that I do think Oni is a bad character. Bad is relative, though, to the game, and Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition is a very balanced game. So, when I say Oni's bad or Oni's trash or whatever, he's still usable. He's still, quote-unquote viable. He's a bad choice for, high-level tournament play, but you can certainly do good things with him. He certainly has matchups that he's fine in, but compared to other Shotos or other similar characters, he's one of the worser choices you can make, and that's what I'm saying. So I'm not saying, oh my god, this is a video that's telling you why to drop Oni right now. I'm trying to educate the people that don't know how to play against him, which will help Oni players, because people will stop letting us get away with gimmicky bullcrap like slash through on wake, slash through on wake, slash through on wake, and they'll understand how to punch it. So that's what this video is about, and I hope you enjoy it and learn something. If you have any suggestions or comments, let me know. Alright, well, let's get going. So the first thing we're going to go over is the Demon Slash. There's some crazy Japanese name for it, but here in America, we call it the Demon Slash. So, or the Slash for short. So there are 4 different versions of that. You've got the Light Kick, which hits in the front, and it does not knock down. And then you've got the Medium Kick, which hits in the front and does knock down. This will not combo the Medium Kick version, so I cannot combo this like I can. Light Kick combos, there's Light Kick. Medium Kick does not combo. And then there's Hard Kick, which hits in the back and knocks down. And Hard Kick's the one that, confuses everyone because it hits in the back. You've got to change your block direction. And EX also does that. EX hits in the back, and you get a juggle property off of that. There's a lot of things you can juggle with it, but it's projectile immune, it hits in the back, and he can juggle. So those are the 4 types of Demon Slashes that Oni can do. So what we're mainly going to focus on here for the slashes is Hard Kick. That's the one that goes behind and it crosses up on the other side. And that's what a lot of people get confused by. It's a pretty unique mechanic. Most characters don't have a move that, as part of the move itself, goes through and crosses up. So I can understand why people have trouble with it. AE's a relatively new game. But I'm going to tell you why that's not so good. And it's actually pretty terrible. And the reason that it's bad is that it's negative 12-ish on block. So if you're not familiar with frame data or don't know what that number means, it's no big deal. So basically what that means is pretty much every character, actually literally every character in the game, can punish that move on block. No exceptions. It is always punishable on block. As a frame of reference, the move being negative 12 means that when I slash and the opponent blocks, so when they block at this point for 12 frames, I can't do anything. I can't even block. That means I'm completely vulnerable. So after you block it, as the opposing player, you can do pretty much any normal. Several specials work as well, but pretty much any normal will work. As long as it's not a crazy slow normal. So, crouching medium punch for most characters is somewhere between 4 to 7 frames of startup, so you have more than enough time to do that. Jabs are usually 3 frames, maybe 4, so you have plenty of time to jab after it. And then you've got your reversal specials. Shoryuken, Flash Kick, Tiger Uppercut, etc. All those moves punish it. And it's not risky for you. You're not taking any guesses. You're just blocking and punishing. So I'll show you how easy that works here. I'm going to put the dummy on record. Have the dummy do a hard kick slash, and then hold down back. And then I'll stand up so we know he's finished. So I'm just going to hold down forward on my dark Oni here. So I'll block it. So down forward. And then when he slashes me, just hit medium punch. Every time. So I've got him set to block that, and he can't block it. And that'll work with a whole slew of normals. You know, jab, obviously. You know, probably crouching medium kick. And then as well as my reversal specials. Shoryuken. So any character, whoops, put that one in too soon. Any character can do this. This is just, I'm showing you only because it's easier. I didn't even get the reversal there. That's what I want to show you. So you don't have to get the reversal to punish it. It's always punishable, but that'll work with flash kick, any Shoryuken, and like I said, any normal. So when you block that, don't be afraid to hit a button. As soon as you see that you've blocked it, throw out your punish. It's going to work every single time. He has so much lag after that move is blocked that he is always punishable. Throws work too. It's very, very punishable. So that's the first reason why that move is not a good idea for an Oni player to use, and why you shouldn't let them get away with it. The second reason why hard kick slash is not a very legit mix-up is because of its very poor priority and slow startup time. And we'll also cover how bad his Oni's hurt box is. He can actually be hit as he's slashing on the opposite side. So before your character turns around, Oni's on the other side. You can jab in front of you. Oni will be behind you, and you can hit Oni while he's behind you. So I'm going to set him back, as I've got there, to playback, and I'm just going to spam jab. So you see how far out that is when he starts this slash? Look at the computer when he starts the slash here. So this is obviously, if you're starting slashes from this far out, you're probably not, setting up mix-ups anyway. So people say, what if they start the slash up close, where it's hard to predict? I can react to it every time and beat it. And I'm going to try and let him go through to the other side of me. And I still beat it over there, right? So he goes all the way through. I'll let him try and get through this time again, sorry. There you go. And it beats it when it gets to the other side. And there are a lot of characters, and that's harder to time if I'm the one I was talking about where I can jab on the left, Oni's on the right, and it hits him. But that happens all the time. So that move gets beat by anything. And what you're probably thinking right now is, oh, okay, well, in a real match, he's going to do setups, and he's not just going to be slashing me, whether it's point blank or at max range. He's not just going to be slashing me. He's either going to sweep me first and then do it on wake, or he's going to, do a light kick, and then maybe something mix up like that, where I'm hitting it off a normal and you have less time to react. And that's true. They are hard to react to in those situations, but they're still really not hard. And here's why those situations aren't hard. I'll go over the actual setups and applications for them. So the most common setup for a hard kick slash cross up is going to be any basic untechable knockdown followed by empty hard kick slash. This is the scrub slash. I get away with these all the time. So just throw, and then slash on wake. And you can vary the timing a little bit to make the options a little bit different. But that's the basic concept. You could do it off of a stomp as well. And again, you can vary these timings the same way depending on what you're trying to do. So that'll make it'll make the opponent have issues with reversal or not have issues with it. But the vast majority of the time, if you're playing against an Oni that's doing something simple like this, you're going to be able to reversal it. So I'm just going to do a Shoryuken. And so that one whiffed. So that's like the worst case scenario, right? So I get a reversal and he crosses through me. He recovers, I recover. They're not really going to have enough time to do a significant punish with that. They may get you with something, but it's not really a lot of damage that you're going to take, most likely. But that's like the worst case scenario. Most of the time, you're not going to end up doing that. Most of the time, what's going to happen is you're going to beat it because they're going to have their timing a little bit earlier than that. So we'll do this one. So it's going to reversal, it'll autocorrect, and you don't even necessarily need to get the reversal. Like that one I did not get the reversal intentionally, and it still hits. So there's really no reason for you to not Dragon Punch as soon as you see a slash coming. And the reason for that is because they're never going to beat the Dragon Punch. They're going to trade. That's like the rarest occasion is they're going to trade, and that's only if you don't get a reversal. If it happens autocorrect, and it happens autocorrect late. But the vast majority of the time, you're just going to Dragon Punch them right out of it. Or you're going to whiff Dragon Punch, and they're going to whiff Slash. And you're both going to be semi-neutral. Especially if you did like a medium punch, Dragon Punch that recovers sooner, which for most characters has the most invulnerability anyway, and it doesn't recover, as slowly as the hard punch ones that go higher. So, if you see a Slash on Wake, it doesn't matter if the Oni is doing light. He's not going to do light on Wake because it only works with combos, really. Unless they're like point blank, but on Wake it doesn't linger enough. So they're going to do an EX, they're going to do a hard, or if you're getting hit by a lot of slashes, which you really shouldn't be, but if you're getting hit by a lot of back slashes, and they think you're going to try and back block, then they might go for a front hitting medium. But that's like, you've got to be really, really getting, mind fucked basically for someone to even want to do that, because you can block it in the front and it's still -12, which is what I showed you before to punish it. And EX works the same way if I put the opponent or the computer on, so I forgot to show that. Oops. So this is the same issue. So non-reversal still hits. I got my dummy set up stupidly. And reversal still hits. So it hits regardless. The worst case scenario is it's going to whiff and you're both going to be in recovery frames. So if you see him slashing at all, just do a reversal. If you don't want to risk the reversal for some reason because you're not confident that will hit, even though almost every time it's going to hit on the slashes. If you don't want to risk it, just block back. Because again, there's no reason that I would ever do this on your wake up. Like I'm not going to throw you on the ground and then do a front hit mix-up. Because I'm not going to go for that until I hit you with the back hit, right? So, unless you've played this person like 10 times today, there's no reason they're going to do that. And even if they do, that's still punishable. So, as soon as you get thrown, see what he does. Oops. Do that again. And as soon as you see Oni start to slash, so I'm going through that whole time, I have that whole animation that I go through for my slash. As soon as you see him initiate a slash, block the opposite direction. Because there's no reason that Oni's going to hit in front. They're not going to do it. And it won't work if they do. Because the light will whiff. And the medium is so slow. Look how much time you have to react to this. You have plenty of time to block that and see that I'm not going to pass through. So that's why the slash is not a good gamble for Oni. It only does 80 damage. So it's not or 100, excuse me. EX does 80. Because you get the juggle. So it's 80 or 100 damage versus the light kick one, which is a combo, does 120. So if an Oni player is going for slashes, they're not only unsafe, but it's less damage. So the only setup they're going to do, is the ultra setup. And if you see him glow yellow, like he's going to EX it, he's going behind you. So you can always, that one's the easiest one of all. If you see Oni glow yellow, just hold the other direction. And then once you hold that other direction, you can punish him. So the last thing I want to talk about with the slashes is the block string setups. So if someone's doing a lot of, light kick block strings, just something simple like that, and you're wondering, oh my gosh, one of these times he's going to do a hard kick and he's going to go behind me. And it's so scary because, in the front, I never know what he's going to do. So there's a fun little trick in Street Fighter 4 auto block that happens. So when you block a combo, if it's a real combo, if it's a real block string, the game will automatically block for you after the first hit of that block string. So if I do this as Oni, my opponent only needs to block the back medium punch. So this is the only thing you actually need to block. You can let go of block after you block the back medium punch, and it will block the light kick slash automatically. And what that allows you to do is cheat. And when an Oni is doing that, he's doing back medium punch to light kick slash, which is what they'll normally set it up off of, or it could be stand medium kick to light kick slash. You know, they're both pretty much the same. That allows you to cheat and use auto block. So we'll have him do light kick and hard kick. So see how I'm holding forward? So I hold forward regardless. As soon as I see the back medium punch, whether he's hitting in the front or the back, it blocks. So he's going to hit in the front this time. See, I'm holding forward on that one. And on that one. So I'm holding forward before he even gets done with the back medium punch. And it works for both options because since it's a block string on the light, it auto blocks the rest of it. It doesn't matter what button I'm holding. I can hold no buttons, which I just did. I can spam a button if I want on that one, which I'll do this time. Whoops, hang on a second. Sorry, he's gonna do it hard again. Alright, here comes the light. So there, I just spam the button and it blocks anyway. So that's just how that's just how auto block works in this game. But you can abuse that because there really is no mix-up. You just block that, and as soon as you see a slash activate, it doesn't matter what slash it is, you hold the opposite direction. The only time that won't be true, and that'll work for EX as well, I don't know if I made that clear. The only time that won't work is if your opponent as Oni does a medium kick slash. Okay? But the medium kick slash, as you'll notice, is incredibly slow. Look at all the time you have before it hits. Even at point blank. So they're never going to do medium kick slash because it's so slow that it's the easiest thing in the world to react to. You could short you it or jab it or whatever, throw it. So they're never going to do it. That's the only time it won't work though because it's so slow that the auto block will dissipate. It will no longer auto block for you. But on a light kick, you can just hold back on the punch, and as soon as you see a slash activate, you know, or it doesn't have to be the back medium punch, you know, if he's mixing it up, you know, it could be, we'll just do that since I'm off today. But, you know, it could just be like a medium, it could be medium kick, it could be a hard punch, it could be a light kick if they're doing it from range. Any of those moves, you just block the normals, and, you know, at any point, if you see a slash activate, you hold the opposite direction. Doesn't matter which slash it is. So, and that's just, you know, one more reason that slashes are not very good mix-ups. And then once you block it, we'll go back to, you know, step one, which is that they're all extremely punishable. As soon as you block, you go into maximum damage punish. It's pretty much any character. Charge characters, even with, you know, Balrog or Guile or Honda with a down-up move, you can do a normal into your down-up charge move. And then input characters, you can do your basic fireball, punish, whatever. So that's the slashes. I know that kind of took a while, but there's kind of a lot to go over, even though it seems simple. So I'm going to move on to the stomps, and we'll go from there. So the stomps, Demon Stomp, again, it has some Japanese version that I'm not going to try to pronounce. This move is, it's definitely more legit than the slashes. You know, it's not nearly as punishable on block. But it is still punishable on block, which a lot of people don't realize. And it also is not an overhead. You'll notice that the computer is blocking these high, but I'll set him to crouch in a second here. Oops. Back up a little bit. So he can still block these when he's crouching. The only exception is EX. EX is an overhead, so you notice the computer stands up for that one. But the EX version is an overhead, but the rest of them are not. So just crush block them. Or better yet, none of them break armor. EX is 2 hit, so it will go through armor, but it doesn't break it. But EX is pretty slow, and you can react to it. I'll show you that in a second here. But we'll have the computer do slash. So you can always focus when Onis are doing these. Get a full punish. And that's the hard kick one I have him doing. It can be light. You know, light is light's a little bit faster, but it's the same principle. So they're all very punishable from focus attacks. That's something I don't see a lot of people doing. Again, EX will double hit, so you know Oni players can scope that out and go for the EX, but most of the time they're not going to do that. Oh man, I blew his shoulder off. Look at that, pretty sweet. So that's kind of the quick Cliff's Notes about the Stomps. The other thing that I wanted to point out is that they are punishable on block, with the exception of hard. Hard is only punishable by reversal command grabs from, you know, Zangief, T-Hawk, Seth. I don't think that Abel and Honda can punish it. It's like -2. But hard is slow. So you've got light, which is very fast. But this is something like -4 on block. So, you know, most jabs can punish this. So can throws. So can reversal shoryukens, reversal flash kick. All of those moves can punish it. And, you know, if you're worried about your down charge, as, you know, a Guile player, for instance, again, this is not an overhead. So when I do this move, if you crouch block it, you'll if you're already crouch blocking and I do, you know, some block string into that to try and get a crouch tech, then you will block it crouching, and you can just immediately flash kick, and it will punish. If you're not sure what I'm going to do, just focus, like I just showed you, and that'll beat it too. So the main takeaway from this is to stop throw teching. It's kind of like when you play against, you know, a Dudley or a Cody, and they just keep doing throw tech blow up setups. You just stop throw teching, and then, you know, maybe they throw you a couple times, but that's not that big of a deal. And if you're really wanting to punish it, and don't backdash. Do not backdash them. That's the other thing, and don't jump back either. So that is what makes these moves legitimate, is that they will beat, if you try and jump back, they will slam you down, you know, whether it's a backdash or a jump back. You know, 9 times out of 10, they're going to beat those options. Even if you're a Chun-Li or something, they're going to beat them. Kind of got off on a tangent there about all those things. What I was going to go into was the punishing. So again, the light kick is very fast. The medium kick is the same speed. The difference is that, and I'll show you here, light kick does 130. Yep. Medium kick does 100. So what we might be thinking is, oh, well, that's weird. Why does medium kick do less damage than light? And the reason is that, although it's very hard to see, medium kick goes farther. So as an Oni player, if I'm up at this point blank range and I do a medium kick, and I don't even know that you can tell here from where he's at above the other Oni's head versus point blank light. Yeah, you can't really tell, but it is farther. And what that allows me to do as an Oni player is that if I walk up to you, maybe I sweep you, and I do that, if you're like a Sagat or a Ken and you have a hard punch Shoryuken that, you know, goes really far out forward, the medium kick will go past that a lot easier than light kick will. So a lot of times I'll use medium kick to try and get behind someone. And it also allows you to, let's see if I can set this up here. It's going to be kind of hard since it's on computer mode, but I'm going to have this Oni sweep and then do a medium kick. And I'm going to do an ultra. He went for the sweep again because recording is bad. Go figure. I'm kind of a noob, as you can see, but we'll, okay, there we go. So he's going to go over me. Now, yeah, and hit me outright, pretty much. So what'll happen there is that you're either going to land behind someone as an Oni player, you're going to land behind them, and then you can punish them when they go for an ultra or Shoryu, or you're just going to go over them and hit them outright. Now, there are exceptions to this. Characters like Ken and Akuma and Ryu have Shoryus that they can do that have good invincibility on startup, and they don't really go very far. So if they go for that Shoryu, you're going to have to do a hard punch, or hard kick rather, stomp, which is a lot slower. But that will go farther and it'll have more of a delay. So again, without trying to get past this tangent without going off on other tangents, the light and medium kick versions are punishable on block. by about -4. You can jab them or throw them unless I'm doing them really far away. And the hard kick is not unless you've got an SPD type move. Okay, the other special that I want to talk about with Oni is his fireball, or his fireballs rather. They recover very slowly, especially his regular fireballs. This is much slower recovery than Ken or Ryu. A lot of people think they're fast because they don't go full screen, but they actually recover really slowly. So just the basic act of like jumping in, it's really a lot easier to scope out on Oni because this whole time I'm gonna spam out a Shuryu here. So that's how long it takes me to recover from that. There you go. So it's pretty slow compared to most fireballs. The exception is his EX. This does recover quickly. So if he throws an EX, don't try and jump in punish it, because I could throw an EX and then I could really quickly do a Shuryu to anti-air you or something. But his fireballs are slow, and obviously they don't go very far unless I charge them. And if I'm charging them, then that's really obvious. You can just start walking forward and then jump over in the middle or neutral jump it or whatever. You just can't focus attack it because they're 2 hits. But again, it's a really long charge time, so you don't really have any excuse to be getting hit by very many of those. He does have the electric fireball, which is similar to Akuma and Evil Ryu's red fireballs. It's actually identical, it just looks different. But it's also got a lot of recovery. Those moves do too. So he shouldn't be throwing these at any range other than close to full screen. He can do a light punch, and that only hits once, and that recovers a little quicker. Medium punch hits twice, recovers a little bit quicker, and then hard punch hits 3 times, and that recovers the slowest. But they all recover slower than a normal fireball, and his normal fireball is already a slower recovery than most regular fireballs. So his fireball game is very poor, and that causes him to have to rely on footsies, which leads us into Oni's normal attacks. So the reason we're going into Oni's normals now is because, man, it's getting late and I'm running out of coffee. Is because they're also pretty poor. And it's not just that they're poor, though. It's that, as hopefully you've understood from the other parts of this tutorial so far, that his main character-defining options, his Demon Slash, his Stomp, are punishable. And not only are they punishable, but you don't really have to react to them. You can simply, do nothing and block. And then punish them, or you can just beat them with other attacks, if you've got a Shoryuken or normal. So that leads him to go to fireballs, which was the last thing we covered. His fireballs, though, are below average. They have no distance, and they recover slowly. So that forces him to play a footsie game with his normals. So that's what got us to where we're at right now. So when Oni's playing footsie, and I'm not going to talk about his anti-air game, because his anti-air game is very good. It's one of the better anti-air games of any of the characters. So I'm not talking about him having trouble with people jumping in. Although he does have some trouble with that because his light punch Shoryuken is not invincible. That's a good thing to keep in mind as part of this footsie. This has no invincibility whatsoever as far as jump-ins go. I think it has some lower body invincibility, but as far as jump-ins go, it will get beat out. The medium punch and hard punch have invincibility, but they cannot be focus attack canceled unless they hit. And they recover slowly if they whiff. So that's just a little segment there, and we'll continue on to the normals. So the normals he'll have to use, again, not considering anti-air. When he's playing footsies, they're going to be stand jab, stand medium punch, crouch medium punch, stand light kick, that's got good reach. This is a good poke. This is the unique forward and light kick. And then the step kick, forward and medium kick. And, of course, the ever cool-looking forward and hard punch. And then occasionally back medium punch. So those are the normals Oni's going to use when he's playing footsies. So what I'm going to demonstrate here is that all of these normals are, at best, on par with other people's normals. But for the most part, you'll notice a trend that they are actually far worse than they appear to be. So the first one that we'll go over is the one that probably gives people the biggest scare, is the forward and hard punch. So the first thing that you need to know about this move is that it is technically a projectile. So if I have Oni shoot an electric fireball, you can try and flash with that. It's going to be kind of hard to time. Just a second. There you go. So it clashes with that because the move is technically a fireball. And if there's anything else that I can note, it's that the move is far slower than it appears to be. You'll see that, you know, I'm terrible, lol, lol, lol. But it's actually much harder to beat a fireball with this move than you would think. So with a lot of moves like, you know, that are fireball invincible, like, you know, maybe my EX Slash, or, you know, Balrog Turn Punch, or even like, you know, a short Yukin or something that, let's see if I can get it closer, that have immunity to fireballs or just straight up immunity, that's very easy to time because those moves all start up fast. But the forward hard punch is a very slow startup, despite the fact that it looks fast when you're not combating a fireball with it. Actually trying to time this without me knowing that this Oni, and even there, you know, I predictably did it, I still got hit because it's pretty hard to time. So if you can imagine, and this is full screen with a very slow fireball, right? If I move up and then an Oni tries to cast this out, I can beat it, but again, this is a slow fireball, and I know that this Oni is going to cast that because obviously he's a computer that I've set to on record, but actually, you know, letting it get out and trying to react, you'll see that it gets beat really often. And that's because the move is slow. It's a very slow move when compared to a fireball that's already traveled. So you're really not going to beat that at any range but a far, far range. And even then, a lot of times, you won't be able to react. So the move is slow in terms of its, you know, quote-unquote primary purpose, which is that it is a fireball and it's, you know, meant to clash with him. But as a poke, you might think, oh, well, it's still got good poke range, right? Well, it's still slow. So any normal pretty much, you know, can beat it. So I'm gonna we'll have this Oni here. Do 1, 2, 3, jump. So if I block this, depending on the range he's at, it's pretty punishable. But I can also just, like, you know, throw out random attacks. And you'll see that, you know, this is just like a quick light. There's really no reason, you know, that you would really lose to this in a footsie war. Because, you know, sometimes you're going to get hit, obviously. Sometimes you will, you know, you won't beat it with your move. But you're throwing out a quick move, right, as the opponent. You're throwing out some kind of jab or whatever. Or maybe you're like a Bison and you're throwing out stand medium kick, which is really fast. Or, you know, you're Ryu and you're doing a crouch medium kick, which is pretty fast and disjointed. You know, any good, normal, average poke move is going to beat that the majority of the time. And Oni, when he does hit you, it's doing 120 damage. But the move is also punishable on block. And it's also, since it's technically a projectile, it gets beat out by close range projectile immune moves. So unless I'm at max range, it's punishable on block. And this is probably the only range I'm going to do it. But a lot of times it's going to whiff, and so even if it whiffs, you can see it whiff and then hit me as I'm doing this lurch back recovery. So it's a very slow move, a slow recovery. Just so you can get an idea on the block here, I'll have this Oni do it at point blank. And again, most of the time, you know, people aren't going to use this at point blank, but this is how slow the move recovers. So that one's going to whiff because my particular Shoryuken on this character doesn't have the range. But if I EX... Oops. Get a little closer here. There you go. It'll hit. So, and that's a poor example because, you know, I'm using a Shoryuken that doesn't have very far range. But if you're a Guile player, for instance, and you're having trouble with Oni at, you know, max range and he's crushing you with this or his fireballs, if you're crouching and you're charging a Sonic Boom charge and the Oni tries to poke you, you will hit him with a flash kick every time on block. And he cannot do anything about it short of FADC it back. So even at a pretty far range, a lot of time you're going to hit with like a hard kick, flash kick. So if you block that, you can hit that. It's not something you're going to do all the time. It's easier to beat it out with a, you know, quick normal, but that's one of the reasons that move is not a very good poke. There are many better pokes than that move, including moves that Oni himself has. So, oh, and of course you can focus it. So don't get beat by a forward hard punch. It's not a good move. You know, don't get hit with it more than a couple times in a set. Okay, the next normal we're going to talk about is forward medium kick. It's a step kick. So what I'd like to point out is what makes this move dangerous and what makes it really good. So what am I doing here? And that's that on block, forward medium kick is a frame trap. It's neutral, or, you know, at worst maybe like -1 or something. It's very close to neutral, if not neutral. So when you do block that, basically you have to guess. There's no way around it. So am I going to forward step kick and immediately shore you, which would be to throw tech or a jump? Am I going to step kick and then throw? Am I going to step kick and do nothing, and then you try and shore you to beat my attack, and then I punish you with full damage punish? Am I going to step kick and then jab, which gives me basically a free block string, which then I can go into a throw mix up, or I can I can step kick, and that's actually kind of slow. There you go. Oops. So then I can do block string and get all kinds of pressure off of that. So step kick, if you block it, is legit. It is a crappy situation for you if you block it. You're going to have to guess. There's no way around it. It is a legit move if you block it. But as I like to say about Oni is only good if you think that he is good. And it's the same thing for step kick. Step kick is only good if you think that it's good. And the reason for that is that, much like the forward hard punch that I just showed you a second ago, step kick has a slow startup. It's not like Ken's. If you're thinking of Ken's step kick, Ken's step kick is very fast on startup. Ken's step kick also has a better hitbox. It's completely disjointed on the tip from his hurtbox. Oni's hurtbox on step kick extends past his hitbox. So even on his step kick, even if you don't beat it before the move comes out, before it gets to the hitbox, it will trade often because his hurtbox extends past the tip of his foot here. I'll try and... So the tip of my foot, if you can see kind of where Oni's arm is blocking, and then his hand behind that is holding up his arm that's blocking, that's basically where my hurt box goes to. Maybe a little bit less far than that, but it goes... My hurt box, which is where I can get hit, goes far past my toe. And again, Ken's step kick does not do that. It is completely disjointed on the tip. Oni also has some significant hurt box below his leg of the move, so he's not really going to pass over sweeps very easily. Good ones like Ryu crouch medium kick or whatever will probably work, but most low crouching moves, he's going to get hit by. He's not going to be able to pass over, rather. So that's part of it, and then again, like I said, the startup. So the startup, I'll have our computer Oni here. Just do step kick, jump, step kick, jump, step kick, jump, just so I can figure out what's going on here. So if I just throw out a normal, I'm pretty much going to beat that every time. Now obviously I know he's going to do this, so that makes it easier. But let's say I didn't know he was going to do that. Maybe he's doing some good block string or something. The move doesn't combo. Which you probably already knew, but just to show you. So if I block these jabs, I can just throw my own jabs out. Or you can use an option select. You can do the crouch tech. Even if, yeah, there you go. So that's like the worst case scenario there, is that it trades, like you just saw a second ago. That's like your worst case scenario. But and then that's up close. If he's using it to poke though, you really shouldn't be getting hit by that. If I'm doing it from out here as an Oni player, any poke that you have will beat that. Any poke. I mean, like any move. Hang on a second. There you go. So he just has a significant amount of startup, and I could even do, like, I don't know, my own stand medium kick, which is kind of similar to Bison's stand medium kick in terms of the time. You see, he got like a full turnaround there. That's how long he's vulnerable. I'll try and time it as late as possible so you can see that. See how long that takes? Let me back up here. Oops. There you go. So it just has a really long startup animation. It's much longer than Ken's. I'm not really sure, why that is. And again, the hurt box is bad. He gets hit out of it easily. It loses on priority. So don't block it. Just throw out moves. and your moves will beat his. I'm not saying, just go up here and spam buttons, at point blank range. Don't just, start doing random crap. But if you're in a footsie battle and you're both going back and forth, don't be afraid to throw your move out. Because the odds that any of his moves are going to beat yours from that range are really low. Oni is only a threat when he's here, when he's right on you. That's when he gets legit. He can do these kind of mix-ups. He can do slash pressure. But from out anywhere else, even like this range, you'll have no trouble. You don't even have to react. Just, throw out a move at random. And you're almost guaranteed to beat whatever it is he's doing, especially the step kick and forward hard punch. So we'll go on to his other poke options. So the next poke we're going to talk about is one that I used at the end of the last one. That's the stand medium kick as opposed to the step kick, which is forward medium kick. It's unique. It's just a regular old stand medium kick. So this one is pretty comparable in terms of the startup frames to other good pokes. It's a fast move. It has a pretty far hitbox. Turn him off block real quick. And it has 2 hits if it's up close, which makes it good if people are focus stacking. So up close it'll do 70 damage with 1-2. This is just one button. But far away it only does 30. And that's also as an anti-air. And that's another problem he has with his pokes, is that all of the pokes that are good, and this move is good, it's a legit move, it's fast, it beats other moves really well, or at least contends even with them, really, more likely. It's good in terms of its properties, but it's terrible in terms of damage. Again, I'm going to use Bison. I know I probably use Bison a lot because Bison has really good pokes, is a good advantage, but I also play against a Bison a lot, so I understand that his pokes are better than most. But this goes to any poke. It could be a standing short or a standing medium kick from most average tiered characters in the game. Ryu, Sagat, whatever. Just a real basic move like that. Is that they're going to do more damage, and Oni's probably going to trade with that, about 50-50. So I'm going to poke here, and I'm going to be trading 50-50, with my little 30 damage move. Look at that. So that's on 950 health versus, a normal good poke from a regularly tiered character it's going to be around 50 probably. A lot of them are like 60 or 70 actually. So even though it looks like I'm going even, Oni's at 950 health, which is lower than most. He's going to be getting 50 more in 2012, which is good. But then the move itself does less damage. So the one good poke that he has, well, there's 2. There's also Standing Light Kick. Standing Light Kick also does 30 damage. So these are his best 2 pokes. These moves are good in terms of property, but they're low in terms of damage. So even if I'm beating you with these, it takes one, a Sakura standing roundhouse, Chun-Li, standing hard punch, Bison standing roundhouse, Bison standing medium kick, Balrog, pretty much pick a move, Guile standing hard punch, crouching medium punch, and that's the crouching medium punch for Guile's not even that good, but it does more damage than these moves. So he's going to lose to pretty much any poke or trade with any poke, or even if he wins, he just doesn't do enough damage with these moves. And the last one is the standing light kick. Standing forward and light kick, which is unique. And that does 50 damage. That's actually pretty good. And this move is disjointed. So this is the most legit poke that Oni has. The problem is it doesn't really have any pressure applications. If you hit with a medium kick, it kind of sets you up pretty well for all these moves. You can special cancel all of those. But you can't special cancel this move. So it does 20 more damage, and it's well disjointed, but it's not special cancelable. So that's kind of the downside. But this is probably his best property move as far as pokes go. So this move probably predominantly, and you got standing light kick and standing medium kick. But like I said, the damage is low, and that's the problem there. So the moves he does have good properties on are low damage. And that's where he starts to lose the footsie war. Just kind of throw it in, his crouch medium kick also is, it's okay, it's not as good as the rest of the Shotos. It's probably the worst one if I had to guess. It's a little bit shorter range, and it doesn't combo into his moves as easily either. You'll notice that his fireball it almost doesn't combo, it just barely is able to connect there, and it actually might not even at max range if he's not in the corner. Yeah, you'll notice that did not combo. So with most Shotos, you would probably, you get a combo there because A, their crouch medium kick is faster in terms of recovery. It has a better hitbox, and then their fireballs are faster. So it's still a decent poke, but again, it's 60 damage, but it's not that great. He's going to lose most of the footsie war using this move as well. You can kind of see the range of that is not so great. So that's probably the last poke I'm going to go over, but just wanted to throw that one in there. So this is kind of bringing us to an end here. I'm sure if you're still with me, you're thankful for that. What I kind of want to go to now is putting this all together. What does that mean? So what it basically means is that Oni has decent at best options, especially in the footsie/poke field, and that's important because he has a hard time getting in. His air dashes are too laggy. I didn't really go over those, but they're very laggy, even if you cancel with a Tatsu, which I'm failing at miserably. There we go. They're very laggy, and like I could get hit out of this, with any Shoryuken. Just any standard uppercut is going to hit me out of that. So that's not really a viable option. Even if he's going, if he goes up, it's even laggier. So it's very poor to use air dash to get in. Makes him have to use footsies. His footsies are low on damage. They get beat out in terms of the slow startup. So he has a hard time getting in, and he's not effective when he's not in because his fireball game is poor. It's laggy. It's poor recovery. So he loses to fireball range characters. He loses to zoning footsie characters because he has subpar footsies. And he does a lot of damage when he gets in, but he just can't get in. He has a really, really hard time getting in. And his mix-ups are poor. There's really no reason to fall for them more than once or twice. And when you do fall for them, it's not a lot of damage. That's 240 damage I just did. Going for that mix-up versus had I hit confirms and gone for a straight combo, I could do 268 damage just off a simple combo like that. So he's going to be dependent on jumping in a lot. He's going to get anti-aired a lot. His anti-air game is good, but you have no reason to jump against him. Just footsie him. Even if your character's poor footsies, I guarantee you they're better footsies than Oni, or at least they're equal footsies. So and those are the characters that he's going to do okay against, or characters that have bad footsies and also need to get in, but also have a hard time getting in because they also have poor footsies. But characters like Sakura that traditionally have a really hard time getting in, and people say they have bad footsies, I think Sakura beats Oni in footsies just because her moves do more damage than his, and she has bad footsies too. But her footsies themselves do more damage. And against Sakura, Oni's going to be trying to get in. Sakura's going to be trying to get in. They're both trying to get in. But Sakura does more damage when she gets in. She has better mix-ups when she gets in. She has better resets, better links, everything. So it's just kind of a case of, in my opinion, Capcom looking at Oni and thinking, oh, this character looks really cool. Everyone's going to want to play him. He's really unique. And they just over-nerfed him. I think the solution to fixing Oni is just some real small, simple changes. Unfortunately, they're not the changes he's getting in AE 2012. He's getting extra health. He's getting a slightly different air dash to EX Tatsu mechanic, but that doesn't really matter. He's getting a couple other minor changes that are just not what he needs. What he needs is a slash cross through that is not so punishable on block. If anything, it could probably be neutral. You have characters like Chun-Li that have Haizanshu that are neutral on block. Characters like Makoto that have all kinds of forward. They're not step through, but they're forward mix-ups and frame traps that are not punishable on block. Really, no character in the game has mix-ups that are that punishable on block. Short of you being stupid and going for a Shoryuken and blocking that. So that's really silly, and I feel like that's their justification for Oni having low health, and that's their justification for Oni having poor fireballs, is that he has those mix-ups. But his mix-ups are bad. They're not really mix-ups. They all get beat out by one option. Stomps get beat out by focus. Slashes get beat out by blocking the other direction. And so he has to play a very fundamental footsie throw jab game. And he's poor at that as well. He's fine at it, but he's not. He certainly doesn't excel at that, and that's his real game. Oni's real meta game is jab, jab, throw, jab, jab. frame trap into combo. That's his real metagame, but, you know, there are many, many characters that do that better than he does. And so, you know, I don't think he should have better fireballs. I actually like that his fireballs suck, and this is obviously my opinion at this point, but a lot of people say, oh, he needs to have better fireballs, but, you know, the reason that they gave him bad fireballs, in addition to the fact that they, I guess, thought that his mix-ups were good, is that they want him to be an up-close character, and I totally agree with that, because since I have not that good at fireballs, it gives me what I need to kind of, you know, hold back the onslaught of someone else's fireballs, and just kind of contend, you know. And at max range, I can beat them with this, but, you know, they can move in real quickly, and that moves slow. So I like that his regular fireballs, the quick ones, are bad. They really, the quicker ones, they're still slow compared to everyone else's. I like that. It forces him to want to get in and play close. Once he gets in and plays close, he shouldn't be punished for going for a mix-up as bad as he is. You know, I think the stomps are okay. They're punishable on block, but it's pretty tight. You know, you can maybe get like a jab or two if they're spaced properly. And the hard punch one is not punishable at all, this big slow one, but, you know, you can react to that, obviously. But they're all focus attackable. And I think that's reasonable. You know, they've got one really solid counter, and they beat several options. So I think the stomps, for the most part, are okay. They're not as good as people think that they are, but I don't think they need rebalancing. I think the stomps are fine. But the slashes, my God, the slashes, there's just no reason for them to be that punishable. So I really hope that before 2012 comes out, Capcom looks at it and just, you know, either makes them... Maybe neutral's asking for too much, you know. I don't think that's the case, but I would be happy if they were, you know, -5 or something, you know. I mean, something that maybe I could be thrown out of, but I couldn't be fully comboed out of. And that's the real problem with them. It's just they're so incredibly laggy that you don't even want to go for them, and your best setup as an Ultra is off of that slash. And, you know, once people have this information, they understand they can just block the other way every time and not even have to worry about anything. There's, you know, and this happens to me, players that I can tell know the matchup. You know, this isn't just me saying, you know, oh, I'm going to release this video today and everyone's going to understand how bad Oni is and the world's going to change. You know, that's obviously a pipe dream, but I play against good players that know this matchup, and I never get this setup. Pretty much never. You know, it's very rare that I will get it. And that's because they understand, you know, see the big glowing yellow obvious attack and block the other side. So I hope this was informative to Oni players as well, in terms of, you know, what your options really are and what you should be going for. You should be going for footsies, and you'll be losing footsies most of the time. But the footsies give you the chance to get in and go for throws, which give you the chance to set up real pressure in the corner. So you should always be going for corner pressure, things that, you know, that push your opponent into the corner or towards the corner. And he's got a lot of moves that do that. So he has the tools to win. He just, you know, his mix-ups and cross-ups are total gimmicks, and you should not fall for them. And if you're succeeding with them, you know, tell your opponent how to get around them, you know, because that's good for you. That'll teach you how to be a better player, and it will make you go for the legit stuff, and it'll improve you in the long run, and it'll help everyone stop losing to scrubby Oni tactics where people just spam slashes. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sorry I rambled for so long, but I have a tendency to do that after several cups of coffee. So hit me up on PC or Xbox Live, MetalMusicMan04. That's also my YouTube account, and you know, I'm happy to talk about Oni or Street Fighter in general or play some friendlies. So thanks for watching, guys. See you later.